Hi, today we're going to be tackling a huge problem that so many people have. Welcome to Being Human if you have this one, which is the fear of the unknown. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that one of the most important things to making sure we stop getting in our own way is dealing with excessive fear. And that could be excessive fear of failure, excessive fear of loss, excessive fear of success even. There's loads of different fears. But one of the ones that is most important and most common that we need to deal with is this one, the fear of the unknown. And if you notice, I said the word excessive several times. Excessive fear is the problem, not fear. Fearing loss, fearing failure, that's not a bad thing to fear. It's the excessive fear that we need to deal with. So let's crack on. And I want to explain not only why is this one so common, but also it doesn't work quite in the same way as the rest of them. And when you realize it, it's a bit of a, I never thought of it that way, and which makes it so much easier to deal with. So when people say they fear the unknown, what are they fearing? Because actually, in the unknown, there is nothing to be afraid of because it's unknown. Now, if you think about that, that really starts to put us back in control of our fear. The unknown is unknown. There's nothing in there. We don't know what's in there. We don't know what's going to happen, which then people say, yes, Stephen, that's the problem. But actually, there's nothing there to be fearful of. So we start to see why this is a problem. The problem with the unknown is it's what we imagine will happen in the unknown. It's what fears we put into that. So that unknown, that future, because pretty much most of the future is unknown to us, we have a choice. We have a choice that either scares us or excites us or anything else we want to put in. So the unknown is unwritten. But what we do is we choose something that scares us or excites us. And this choice is incredibly important to remember that we have. We can imagine absolutely anything. And if you are a bit fear-led, you create excessive fear. We imagine our worst fears in there. We put our worst fears in the unknown. So therefore, the unknown is not unknown. It's what we decide it's going to be. We decide through our imagination, unconsciously, we start thinking of things that are scary. And the reason we pick the scary things is because often we want to try and feel in control. We want to know what's going to go on so it doesn't happen to us. So what it does, it says, if I can give you things to be fearful of, we're going to make sure they're not going to happen. But obviously it's unknown. So you're putting fears in that simply may not be there. So understanding what your fears are is a good thing. But when we create excessive fears, and if you've seen the videos on sabotage loops and a thinking that gets in our way, we create an excessive amount of fear because the brain says, if I can keep you safe first, the most important thing, keep you safe, then you can't fail. And if you can't fail, actually, then you can be successful. But what happens is we just think of our fears, our biggest fears, throw them into that unknown, and we go, oh, we're not going there. So we stop. So this is the simplest way of looking at it is your brain is trying to help you, throwing in your imagination, all the things that you're most scared of. And if it's an excessive fear, your brain will not want to give up these excessive fears because it thinks it's helping you by protecting you. And once you're protected, then you can go off and be successful and happy and do everything you want to do. But obviously you don't do them because it's too scary to go there. So you can create positive things in that unknown if you want, if you choose to focus on those good things. And that's what people who achieve good things do, successful people do. They get scared as well. They worry about loss. They worry about losing their money. They're worrying about failure. They worry about criticism. They worry about all sorts of things. But what they do is they have those concerns under control. And then what they do is they focus on the good stuff and they put the good goals in. They look at what they want to achieve and they say, let's go for those. But people who are fearful and put fearful ideas into their future will live in fear now, thinking about what dreadful things can happen. So if you fear failure, for example, that's what you'll put into the unknown. So whatever you fear most is what you imagine is going to happen. So if you want to get in control of your fears and start designing and making an exciting unknown, meaning future, we can help you with that, because the most common thing we need to do with our clients is turn off the part of the brain that creates excessive amount of fear, or sabotage thinking, if you're going to call it that, or things like imposter syndrome. And there's many, many things we start with that once you get that under control, why do you excessively fear failure or loss or success or ridicule or embarrassment or whatever it happens to be? You have a reason why it's in your head, why you do this, instead of picking excitement and fun and goals and achievement. So if you've got this conflict, you know you want to and are capable of doing more, but you put in too much fear into your unknown, that's what we're really good at. That's a 4-week process we use to turn this off, so the real you can come out and start putting some really good, fun, enjoyable, exciting goals in, while, and this is the important bit, a part of your brain keeps you safe. Just enough so you don't do crazy stuff and you make big mistakes, but not excessive fear. So it's the excessive fear that you need to turn off, so then you can have a good balance of goals and keeping yourself away from risk. So I hope this has been useful to you. What is it you excessively fear? Get in touch. We're really good at doing this here over at Certain Change. Turning this off takes about 4 weeks, and it's amazing what people do when they turn off the excessive fear, which they just never needed in the first place. Hope this has been useful to you. Hope to speak to you soon. And yeah, don't make your future all about fear, because it doesn't need to be.